As you listen now, you might already begin to wonder what happens downstream of a single forecast. Because it was never just about feeling anxious now or sad today. No, a forecast is the first domino. When a mind whispers, speaking up means rejection. You shrink, you stay silent. And in staying silent, you never connect, you never influence, you never grow into the one you might have been. A decade later, you're left asking, why does life taste flat? And when another mind whispers, taking risks is humiliation, you hold back. You don't build, you don't dare, you don't leap. And years later, the regret feels heavier than any humiliation ever could have been. So isn't it fascinating how one unchecked forecast echoes through an entire lifetime? Imagine two villages with two weather prophets. One prophet always cries storm, so the villagers stay inside. Crops wither, trade dies, laughter fades, and year by year the village becomes a ghost town. The other prophet sometimes says storm, but when he does, the villagers test it. They go outside. They plant anyway. Sometimes it rains. Sometimes it shines. But always they learn. And that village, bursting with crops, stories, children and joy. And your unconscious can realise, aren't you the prophet of your own life? Aren't your forecasts feeding or starving the entire village of your future? Because here's what happens if you don't act. The same loops keep running, same heartbreak, same arguments, same failures. You live in a karmic Groundhog Day, replaying reruns until you die, wondering if you ever really lived. And here's what happens when you do. Fear predicts doom. You test it, and surprise, dopamine fires. Learning locks in, confidence grows. That one test becomes 100. That 100 becomes a new identity. And that identity shapes a destiny where freedom isn't abstract, it's visceral. So notice now how those futures feel different in your body. The heavy, stagnant drag of ignoring this versus the expansive, electric charge of acting on it. And here's the best part. Your brain loves upgrades. Every wrong forecast corrected is a little biochemical fireworks show. That's why babies giggle after wobbling into a new step. That's why you smile when something scary turns out okay. So what if fear became fun? What if every anxious flutter was the signal? Upgrade in progress. Can you already feel how playful that would become? Like turning every storm warning into an adventure, every what if into a roller coaster thrill. So as you reflect now, you can notice how often fear has been just old data. You can discover how confusion opens the mind to new learning. You can realise that prediction is not prophecy, only perspective. And as you're realising that, you can already begin to imagine what it feels like when your nervous system automatically upgrades the forecast. And the father energy truth is, ignore this. And the karmic consequence is decay, a smaller life, a tighter cage. Act on this, and the karmic reward is expansion, connection, transformation, freedom. Because life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. Life is about realising you are the forecast. And the forecast you choose, storm or sunlight, creates the world you live in. So change the prediction and watch the entire weather of your life change with it.